Hey, it's your girl LaTonia Monroe Naylor, your mission rich business consultant and chief business educator. Here with another Tea and Talk Tuesday with LaTonia. I've been doing some real heavy thinking. The end of the year is coming in. The fall always starts to have us thinking about what our future is going to look like coming into the new year. And been working on some strategies. And as I think about, and I'm actually looking at my mug here. This is what a published author looks like. Thank you so much to my sister friend Adrienne for sending that to me. I I wanted to read you all an excerpt in my book or from my book. And the reason being is that this has a lot to do with what today's conversation is going to be about. It says on page 20 of the book, a turning point came when I desperately needed love and concern from those I had always been available for. I realized after they made no effort to show up for me that they really didn't have to do anything for me. So I questioned myself about feeling that I needed to do everything for them. The answer, I am not God. I cannot answer all things, be all things, or be everywhere. That realization became the starting point for my journey towards breaking free from the martyr syndrome. So, if you want to learn more about the martyr syndrome and what actually happened that led up to me talking about that, I would suggest you get the book. But the reason why I brought that up today is because a couple of weeks ago, I was meeting with my coach one on one, and she said to me, "You are in a team of doing too much. You need to get off that team." And I was completely honest. I'm like, "You're absolutely right." Even when I wrote those words last year, even when that particular situation that occurred that I talked about in that particular part of my book occurred, I was doing even more than what I'm doing now. But it was the reality that I had to start working towards building boundaries. Because if you don't build boundaries, you're always going to keep overstepping boundaries without realizing that it is not healthy for you. And it's really not healthy for people around you because if you allow people to drain you and work you till you can't be worked anymore, they will. So that's not healthy for you, but it's not healthy for people to think that it's okay to do that to people either, right? So we set our expectations for people as to how they can treat us and what they can do to us and what they can take from us. It is one thing to give and pour into people because you love to do it and you're not doing it necessarily for a return because you're doing it because you're a good person and you love people or you just feel it's your calling. And so I get it. I get that part of it. But there's a fine balance between ministering, embracing, loving, being compassionate, and being used, abused, and taken advantage of. And what often happens is that people who are loving and caring, it is a blessing and it's a curse. Because if you don't have people around you, if you don't have accountability partners, if you don't have a strong circle or network of people who are willing to call you out when they see you doing too much, then you could be in a situation where you're repeating things that you know better than to do. So I know all about martyr syndrome. I should probably have a t-shirt because I've been there. I wore the t-shirt to that mountain and I've climbed it several times. And I have made it my journey over the last 10 years to not have to continue to go back up that same mountain. But old habits die hard, right? It is very challenging to tell a person who has it in them to be a giver and a helper and a server not to. It is more challenging to tell a person who's used to being a giver and a sower and compassionate that you should be charging for your services, that you should be monetizing the gifts that you have because God wants you to be a good steward of the gifts that He gave you and put down in you. Most people don't marry the two. They're like, that doesn't make sense to me. I gotta give, I gotta do. People don't have enough to pay me. People don't have this. People can't do this. People can't do that. So we're constantly doing too much. And the reality is, like I said in that particular excerpt, I am not God. You are not God either. So you can only do so much. You can only be so many places. You can only know so many things. And it's okay because you're human. And guess what? If God rested in all of his awesomeness, then how is it that we don't give ourselves the same license or validity to say, hey, it's okay to take a break? It's okay to plan rest into your schedule. It's okay to plan vacation time into your schedule. It's okay to plan self care time into your schedule. It's okay to plan self maintenance time into your schedule. Notice I said self care and self maintenance because they're two separate things. Going to get your nails done is not necessarily self care. Now, some people do it as a self care practice, right? They take a spa day and it's really about getting their mind clear and not being focused on things. But other people are just going to get their nails done. That is not self care. Okay. Not the same thing. Just so it's very important that we break down why is it that we do what we do when we say that we're trying to rest. For me, resting looks like no technology. I shut my technology down. I put my phone on do not disturb. I have automated messages that will pop up if you try to text me when I am taking a break. I have automated messages that will pop up when you're emailing me when I'm on vacation time or when I'm doing something otherwise preoccupied. I will let you know I am setting a boundary. And unless it's an emergency or unless you're somebody very close to me, and when I say very close, living in my house, my kids and my puppy and my husband, my mom and my sisters might get to me, maybe my brother. But my whole point is that I I'm intentional about setting the space and setting the boundaries. And I love to do that. And I love that I have people around me that make me do it. I have people around me that if they don't see me taking a break or they see my Saturdays and my Mondays and everything, because I usually take Mondays off and I usually work on Saturdays. So sometimes they'll see me go straight through Monday and Saturday. They're like, wait a minute, when are you taking a break? My husband will call me out on it in a minute. So it's a blessing to have somebody call you out and say, you are on the team of doing too much and you need to figure it out. Because I myself thought I was actually not doing too much because I used to do way too much. So some of y'all are on the team of way too much, doing way, way, way too much. And you think because you're not doing as way too much, I know that is such bad grammar, but hey, it is what it is. You think because you're not doing as much as you used to do, that you're actually doing better. And you're still doing way too much. You're still doing too much. So I would suggest to you to resign from the team of doing too much. You might have to finish the season because it ain't okay for you to quit on people while they're expecting you. I was telling somebody the other day, look, you on the team, you committed to the team. You can't just drop the team because you got a revelation. You have to stay committed to finish out that task. But once you finish out that project and that task, then you need to reevaluate. And while you're actually, before you reevaluate, when you finish the task, you need to start thinking about it now. You're planning your exit strategy and you're planning what your next steps are going to be now, not waiting until the situation arises. That is not good business. That is not good strategy. That is not, as a matter of fact, that can burn bridges. You do not want to be burning bridges because you just might need to cross that bridge again. You do not want to burn bridges. When I was transitioning to starting my business full time, my consulting business full time, I was at a job that had a lot of I had a lot of flexibility. The pay was not great, but I had a lot of flexibility, which was one of the reasons why I took the job. I had the ability to be present for my kids at any moment, my husband, anything that was needed, I could do because I had a lot of flexibility on my schedule. And normally you give a 2 week notice. I gave a 4 month notice. Now, some people think that is absurd. Why would you give a 4 month notice? The reason why I gave a 4 month notice is I understood that we were in the middle of an audit. I understood that we were in the middle of a huge evaluation. I understood that we were in the middle of a multi-million-dollar grant that needed to be submitted and completed. And I was also aware that we were in the process of finalizing a grant that we were in so that we would be prepared to be able to apply for the next one. There was no way in the world that me being the person responsible for all of those four major tasks was going to just walk out and leave the entity because I had a right to just do 2 weeks. Because I believe in reaping and sowing. Okay? And what I understood was this world is too small that I'm working in, that if I burn a bridge that serious, that will follow me. And there weren't many things that anybody could say about me that were not nice. I don't think there was anything they could have said about me that was not nice in that particular position. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, hey, sometimes you do things and you don't realize it. But from my knowledge and from the knowledge of the folks that I know that still work there or that were there after I left, it was a blessing because it could have been a hot mess. But I left everything on record, everything organized, everything very intentionally structured so that the next person coming in would not have a headache and would not be stressed like I was when I first took on the position. Because I believe in reaping and sowing. And I believe that if I burn a bridge, even though some people could have said I had a right, go ahead, just leave. But that would have been burning a bridge. That is why I still work with a lot of the people that I worked with in that old position. That is why many of those people have purchased my books. That is why many of those people have referred clients to me. That is why many of those people have reached out to me for speaking engagements and or training because I did not burn the bridge. Now, had I burned the bridge, pretty sure nobody would be following up with me, reaching out to me, trying to find out how they can work with me or how they can refer people to me. So don't burn bridges as you're mending and healing yourself, as you're going through the process of setting boundaries and disciplining yourself. I told you about my 5 a.m. challenge. That has been something that has transformed my whole life. It has transformed my whole life. I haven't been posting on it as much, but it's still happening. I am still in that motion of getting to bed earlier, waking up earlier, having more discipline, having more structure with intent, intentionality, living intentional. Okay. So I'm getting ready to wrap it up because I'm getting a little lengthy, but I just had to share that. Get off the team of doing too much. Your business strategy, even if you don't have a business, even if you're somebody like, look, I don't want to be an entrepreneur, I don't want to have a business. But it's just the reality that you are going to be more effective if you stop allowing people to stretch you out. And let's be real, there's a lot of people that are having heart attacks. A lot of people are having strokes because of stress and because they're doing too much. A woman came up to me when I was in Chicago. I had a speaking engagement in Chicago a few months ago. And she said to me, wouldn't it be a shame if something happened to you because you're doing too much? And I said, you're absolutely right. That's why I'm about to go home and rest. And I did. I went home and I took a 2-week break. I reset everything, got everything together. And I've been continually focusing on delegating tasks, bringing in a personal assistant. That's my next thing. I'm working on bringing in a personal assistant. Because I have an assistant, but she's not a personal assistant. So I need to add a personal assistant. I'm looking at very intentionally, what are the things that I need? How do I need to delegate my responsibilities in each of the businesses that I'm working on so that I can maximize my capacity to do the thing that I'm really good at in the places that I'm gifted so that I can bring elevation to the spaces that I'm in. And so I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to look at what you're committed to. I challenge you to sit down and write down on a piece of paper, in your notepad, on your phone. I don't care where you write it, but write it down. Don't just think about it. Write it down. What are the things that you are doing every day? Why are you doing it? Write it down. Challenge yourself. I guarantee you, you are doing some things that you should not be doing that are drawing you away from the things that you know that you feel compelled to do, that you want to do, that you want to accomplish. Because you're doing too much, you're not accomplishing those things. So I'd be interested to hear from you. Those of you who are taking on this challenge to see what you're doing and if you're doing too much, and invite you to join me in the 5 a.m. challenge. I am going to open up some type of 5 a.m. I don't want to say 5 a.m. club because I think there's a book called the 5 a.m. Club, but it's going to be a 5 a.m. something. um, and we are going to just check in with you all and see how you're doing because I'm a firm believer that when you set up intentional structure, you will be successful. Intentional structure leads to intentional strategy, and intentional strategy leads to long term sustainability and success. It just does. It just does. So, all right, y'all, take care. You have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your day and evening. I am out of here, headed to something else that I have to do. Don't judge, don't judge. Like I said, y'all, I'm redirected. All right, one day at a time, one decision at a time. Y'all have a blessed day, and don't forget that you can catch me at missionrichandprofitpower.com if you would like to order the book or visit Amazon. You could also check me out on monroenaylor.com. I am updating my website, y'all, so you will see some things changing around. And also, you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just got on TikTok. All right. So y'all have a blessed rest of your day.